We're going to I'm talking tonight about the food science graduate program, which is, it's housed, it's an interdisciplinary program. So it's College of Ag sort of takes care of us in the Food Science Institute. But it's sort of a separate type program. It's a weird deal. There's a couple of those interdisciplinary programs we have. The get here. Okay, what's going on? Okay, see if this, get a slow response here. Anyway, now we're at the beginning here. Anyway, we know about that. You're all here because you're interested. These are some of our people from around the different departments and labs throughout the program. This is a interdepartmental, actually it's called an interdisciplinary food science graduate degree, which means it's not really a department, but we pretty much function like one, and we're actually bigger than a department. And we've discussed becoming a department over the years, and just hasn't happened yet. Our program is, I'm thinking 53 or 54 years old. It sounds incredibly, that sounds like a long time, but we do have one emeritus professor in the chemical engineering department, Larry Erickson, and he teaches a couple of one-credit courses that sometimes our students take. He was one of the founding fathers. He's in his 80s, and he's retired now, but he still is active in a lot of things. So yeah, it's quite an old program. We also facilitate with on the undergraduate food science degree program, which we have on campus and by online also. And we cross over four to six colleges, depending on how you look at it, and about 9 departments. And I've got some more of the core departments that I think later on here. Here's some contact persons. If you have questions, and you will probably run across other different individuals in the global campus, because seems like there's about 3 or 4 people that help out over there. So if that's your first contact. Anyway, if Diane or Brittany or somebody else over there talks to you, then eventually if you get some questions, they'll send you my way, and then I can answer, clean up, or get in more specific details on some things you might have, some questions. And Dr. Jeanette Thurston cannot make it tonight, but she's our institute director and very supportive. And she's also a assistant dean in the College of Ag now, so of research. I don't think I need to tell you this, but the food science MS degree is, if you're in the industry, which you should be, probably with the bachelor's degree in some major, sometimes food science, sometimes others like biology, biochemistry, chemistry. I've had music, so it varies quite a bit. The MS degree, most of our students come into it, they want to better themselves and move forward, and often they can come across with a better position, or maybe a better compensation, things of that sort. K-State, I think without question, we're the top online MS degree program in the country, probably the world. Now there are about 5 universities that have different variations on the program. Excuse me. Ours is a dedicated food science program. It's not a a business production type thing. It's more of the science and that kind of thing. And there are several programs that there are MS food safety programs, and there's a couple of those. Michigan State's very well, a very famous program. And some of the other programs we compete with, the uniqueness of our program is essentially everything is online. And we'll talk about that later. And so we pick up students from some of the other programs because they weren't able to get all the courses they wanted, or they had to go on campus. Career opportunities across the food system. I will leave that. You can look at that later, but I don't think I have to tell you about all of this. Let me see what we got here next. Oh, the salary compensations. Now, these are people that have been out in the industry for a while. Our bachelor's degree are starting out around, it's about 60,000. Master's degree, I'm not quite sure. The doctoral degree, I've got, just from what I've seen recently, we're talking 85 to like 120,000 starting off. That's pretty amazing. So in a couple of years, they'll be making more than us professors here at K-State, but that's okay. There's different benefits for being here, which is why I'm not in the industry. Anyway, I think you know about the benefits of this. This is the neat little thing it's on our website. Well, it's tied in with our website. If you click on this, and I'm not going to do this now because it takes too much bandwidth, but you can click on this and it will take you, you'll see different places. You can click on it and it takes you to where some of our students are located. And if you look at this, you'll see there's a lot. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to enlarge this. It's too much bandwidth. There's a lot of in the United States, but you'll see that we're scattered all over the world. So we're pretty much international flavor, especially on campuses is international. So anyway, our online students, this is the master students. They're almost all of them are employed full-time in food science industries in some capacity. The employer, depends on the employer. Usually they'll pay partial tuition and fees, a designated amount per year. And there are some companies that pay the entire thing. And there we have a couple of students in our program that the company is not paying. And sometimes our students elect not to take compensation because if you plan on leaving the company, usually you have to stay a couple of years if you want to benefit from their educational programs. Just so you know, once you apply, and once we send our acceptance over to the grad school to approve, we will designate a graduate faculty member that will serve as your major professor and advisor throughout the program. So we don't just bring you in unless you flop around. So and sometimes that happens with some other programs. So you will have somebody that will be your advisor, and usually that shows up on your acceptance letter. Graduate course options. Critical to our program is the availability of multiple distance graduate courses. I have here 70 to 80, but it's probably more than that. And they go across a broad spectrum of departments. There's grain science. They have quite a few offerings in especially baking science aspect. We had food, nutrition, dietetics, and health. They have several courses there. Also, the sensory courses are housed in that department. We have animal sciences and industry, which has several different types of courses that are housed in animal science. Statistics has a lot of different offerings online. And when we started up, statistics was there with some of the few programs that actually started up quite a few years ago. English has a couple of courses online, but we do have an English course that you're required to take. Diagnostic medicine Pathobiology, there's some pretty interesting courses there. Ag engineering, there's some in chemical engineering. What we do, our philosophy is if you take the core courses, then we encourage you, if you want to look at some other different types of courses, then that is fine. That's good. That's a good thing for us. Most of the courses, a lot of the courses are captured from on-campus lectures with the media site video system. Or sometimes they might be, sometimes a professor might set up the lecture in their office or at home using their laptop or something like that. And so you may have a talking head or not. My approach on some of my lectures is I voice over the PowerPoints. If I'm going to the lab, I'll actually take a video in the lab with me. It'll be live with the class that was taking the lab. And some of the students get a kick out of that. So we use the Canvas Learning Management System, which is, it's a CAN system that a lot of universities use. Blackboard is another one that can be used. And one of our big advantages is in a lot of cases, the distance and campus courses contain similar material and it's the same professor. So you're getting somebody that's teaching on campus. In our food science group, we don't hire outside people to teach our courses. We teach our own courses. So depending on the situation, sometimes we'll get a little extra compensation, depending on what our workload is on campus. Okay. Let's see. And by the way, don't forget to put your questions in there as we go along. Our master's degree are offered both on campus and online. And we have about, I think it's 20 master's students and about 14 PhDs on campus. Do I have my numbers down here somewhere? Anyway, the options are the same as on campus. The options are different, but when you get the master's degree, your diploma will say master's degree, food science master's degree. It doesn't say food science online master's degree or non-thesis graduate degree or report degrees or thesis. So, but typically almost all our students take the non-thesis, non-report, which is coursework only. Sometimes they'll do a report, which is like a big term paper in a way. And there are cases, in rare cases, we do have the thesis option where you actually will have to work with your company. You could do research with your company and have somebody guide you there, a PhD. But those are something, if you're interested, somebody in your company wants to help sponsor that, that's a possibility. I've had several students, one of them, most recently one was at Ocean Spray outside of Boston. Ocean Spray, the cranberry folks, and it worked quite well. So we also have a food safety and defense graduate certificate, which is 12 credits. And you can, if you plan accordingly, you can end up with the certificate and the degree, and you don't have to take any more courses than what the degree would require. Okay, a lot of detail here. You can look this up. It's on our website. The master's non-thesis option is 34 credits. We have a core of 20 to 22 credits. We have a block A and a block B. You have to take 12 credits of block A and three of 5 courses in block B. And these are the core, what we consider core courses. Now, if you come in and you've got some background in food science as far as an undergraduate degree or some graduate training, we can waive some of these courses if you've already had them. We don't make you take them again. So, and we do that. We have about maybe 30 to 40% of our applicants have an undergraduate degree in food science. And so they want to go back. They want to go back to school, get a master's degree, but you've got a good job and you don't want to quit and spend 2 years in poverty on a campus. So I don't blame you. So anyway, these are the core ones. We have lots of other ones on our website. There's a whole sheet of these possible courses. The impacts and successes. The program was launched in, I can't see my slide here. Yeah, 2002. We've had about 250 online students graduate, and up until, fairly recent, even now, we're graduating. We have about 10 or 15 students to defend per semester, and then a couple over the summer. The enrollment, as of when the enrollment numbers came out about 4 weeks ago, we have 107 master's online students. And this is the highest it's ever been. So our demand is up, and we're still, we can still take care of more people that want to apply. Like I said before, almost 95 plus, maybe 97, 98% of our graduates are employed in the food industry, which I really enjoy because it gives us, well, all of us do, it gives us different perspectives on what's going on in the industry. Like I said, we have a food safety certificate, a security graduate certificate, and this is with what's called the IDEA program. It's a cooperative thing with, you can do it strictly with courses from K-State, or you can pick up other courses from University of Nebraska, Missouri, Iowa State. And the beauty of this is if you're in the certificate program, you can enroll for the courses that are offered in Nebraska, for example, through the K-State system. So we've got a deal worked out, and you don't have to go through a bunch of hassle to get accepted at Nebraska or Iowa State if you want to take one of those courses. So even if you're not in the certificate program, we have students that petition to take the courses, and if there's space, they'll let you in. So I have a student that's taking a toxicology course at the University of Nebraska right now. Okay, and this is just an option you should be aware of. Now, for the application process, it's sort of hard to find. We've redone our websites, and our websites have become mostly marketing sites, and so the information you got to dig around for. But I got the link here to the online master's site, and it has a lot more details. The things you'll need to apply, you need to have the prerequisite courses, and we have those listed. Some basic science courses, biology course, a microbiology course, organic, biochemistry, physics, calculus, statistics. Anyway, we can algebra. If you're deficient in one or a couple of those, please talk to me. Sometimes, depending on your experience, we can maybe. I don't want to publish this out loud, but sometimes we don't make people take physics because sometimes that's not going to be much good, depending on where you're at. The GPA 3.0 the last 2 years of your undergraduate degree, to come in as a full admit, you'd have to have that. If you're below 2.65 GPA, it would be a tough time to get you admitted. And what we do, we have students take some prereqs or maybe take a couple of grad school courses as non-degree status to show that they can take the course, handle the material. And let me tell you, I was an undergraduate student once, and sometimes you don't really think about those. If you've been out of school for a while, you go back and look, your transcripts are terrible, but you're not that person anymore. So you're somebody different, and you're more dedicated to go to school. So we tend to sort of downplay that. So, and I had my bad semesters when I was undergraduate. I managed to get to grad school, but I was sort of forced to. We will need all transcripts of previous college work, and we don't need official transcripts. We need a student copy, a nice clear scan to be uploaded. That's all we need. If you're admitted, the graduate school will request the official ones later. 3 letters of recommendation and a brief statement of objectives. And if you have a CV or a resume or something like that, it's helpful to have that uploaded. If you have questions about courses or something like that, send me your CV and your transcripts. Give me something to look at, and I can take a look at it and tell you, give you an idea of where you're at. There's our Food Science Institute webpage, and if you go to this link, look at this is what it looks like. Go to the header boxes here, and there's pull down windows, and you can, this is a university standard format, but then all the information is here under these boxes. Let's see what else I got here. And I do a lot of talking with students, phone calls, emails, and Zoom meetings at times. So try to schedule appointments. And if I'm free over the weekends, I usually come into work on Saturdays and Sunday mornings to do what I call paperwork control. So we can help you out there if you can't meet during the day, during the week or something. What else we got here? Here's our critical contacts. Nicole Marple is program assistant, and her and I work very closely together on admissions and applications and things of that sort. And she can access all the files, and she's a very good person to talk with. If she gets stumped on something, she will refer to me, Dr. Thurston. You can also talk to her. And then there's a whole, quite a few, Yan and Brittany and some other contacts over in Global Campus that can help you out, at least get you started in the right direction. Okay, we'll take your questions if you have any. What have we got here? Just one?
Yeah, so Brandon would like to know how sensory courses are performed by online students.
Quite frankly, I don't know how the sensory course handles that. They do have some exercises. I know flavor chemistry has some assignments, okay? And I've got the questions coming in. So I really can't answer that very specifically. Okay, what do we do about Brandon? The second one is lab participation. We try to have online labs. They're sort of a video webinar type labs. What I do is I have videos and I have data from exercises we've run in labs, and I have students, I give them that information with pictures and things of that sort, and then they have to write a brief report. Okay, what else? Okay. The GRE is not required at this time, by the way. We require to have 1 year of food industry experience. We don't, restaurant and hotel catering is not the food science profession as far as processing and things of that sort. So we would prefer that you are out in the industry. Very curious about flavor chemistry. well, I don't know. I can, Brandon, I can send you a syllabus of what they cover, but it covers the chemistry, the flavor, chemical reactions that make flavor, different types of flavor, how you evaluate it, things of that sort. When is the deadline for spring 2023? I think we've got on a website, I think we're looking at December the 7th. And let me just check here. I got it on my calendar too.
Yes, it's December 7th.
Is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is it gives us time to get most of the stuff evaluated but before the university shuts down. So we know what's going on, get it turned in. Once the university shuts down, they don't come back till January. And we'd like to get you accepted about 3 weeks before classes start. So you'll know what's going on. Okay, can we get course credit for research we're doing at our job? Not usually, no. Unless there's some kind of special project, but you'd have to have an on-site mentor, it'd have to be a PhD. So not usually. Do online students ever need to come to campus? Before COVID-19, there was a requirement that for your final defense, which would be a presentation, and you meet with the camp committee and you have a defense exam and everything, an oral exam, you had to come on campus. Well, when COVID came along, obviously we couldn't enforce that and didn't want to anyway. So we haven't gotten back to that. Now, probably somewhere down the line, we're probably going to go back to it. And right now we have an option that you can come on campus or you can do it by Zoom. And so we're having a mixture, but I've got a couple of my advisees. In addition to be program chair, I also advise close to 20 online students. And I've got several of them that want to come to campus. And that way you get to meet people, you sort of feel like you're really getting a degree and you're really at K-State. What else? I've attended and completed other food science certificates, food production certificate through Cornell. With, does that increase my chances of admittance if my GPA is 2.8? A 2.8, yeah, with that background, you would be admitted pretty much if you have the prereqs. And what would happen is the grad school won't admit you full admit, but they'll admit you on probation. So we just make a recommendation on probation, and then you have to come in and obtain B grades or better, and eventually you'll come off of probation. Okay, what else? We got anything else? Is this it? Okay.
I think we've answered all of the questions that have been asked so far. I just want to give everyone another moment to put any questions you have in the Q&A if there's maybe something that we didn't address that you were still wondering about.
Well, I hope I didn't confuse you folks too much, but we're readily available to answer your questions either at the food science graduate program and global campus. So I think we all work together and try to make sure your questions are answered. And
we have one more question come in from Brandon. Brandon was wondering about the typical time frame for completion of this program.
The mean average time is about 2.5 years. You would take, it all depends on your schedule, your work schedule, and things of that sort. If you have a heavy travel load, you might not take classes that semester. You can petition them not take classes for a semester if something comes up, or a new addition to the family. You never know, or an illness. But typically, students will take 2 classes a semester, and the classes are 2 or 3 credits. So in one class, we don't recommend any more than 1 class in the summer, because the summer sessions are compressed. So we're looking at a 15, 16-week semester class length. Go to the summer, it's 8 weeks. So it's all squished into a much shorter time frame. And some students struggle with that. So especially if something comes up at work. But about 2.5 years is about the average, but we've seen students take longer, and there are a couple of rare cases where they took a lot of classes and finished up less than 2 years. But 2.5 years is about the average.
And I'll just
Yeah.
add that the grad school allows up to 6 years to finish a program.
Yes, and we've had a couple that have pushed that envelope, and actually beyond that. So, but they got done. So well, I guess I don't know if there's anything else we need to talk about. Anything else? Well,
I think that probably just about wraps it up. I put Dr. Smith's email in the chat, as well as the K-State online email, which is monitored by myself and 2 other admissions representatives who some of you may have been working with. And so if you do have follow-up questions or things that come up after this webinar is over, feel free to reach out to us at those emails, and we're happy to help you out. And again, I just want to thank Dr. Smith for that presentation, and thank everyone for being here with us tonight. And also just remind you that those who attended this webinar live this evening are eligible for an application fee waiver for the Food Science Master's Degree program for the spring 2023 semester. So feel free to reach out to the K-State online email when you are ready to apply, and let us know that you attended this webinar, and we'll be happy to provide you with an application fee waiver code. And if there aren't any other questions, I will let everyone go, and thank you for joining us here tonight.
Okay. Good day, folks. Good night.
Bye-bye.